I was going to talk about the how great it was to go to London when we were youngsters. Like somehow when I was about 14, I think, 15, and my second trip was in 1983, and I would have been 18, and there was an excitement really, because it was it's a strange thing to say, but it was definitely geared toward the youth, and it was definitely something exciting happening with the music and just the town itself. And it was all the stuff that we didn't know about, and I don't particularly want to mention those things. I think everyone can understand. But then it was all great, really. And it's kind of strange what I was going to say, but in 1983, I don't think there was such acrimony or there was such antagonistic feelings towards the black people. And I'd heard of what happened in Brixton and Toxteth and all those places, because every summer in 1981 and 1992, 1980 maybe, I forgot, spending time in Brittany and with the radio on, and we didn't have a television, and that was great. It was a blessing, really. But the radio man was talking about the race riots, Tottenham and all those places, and it seemed like absolutely unbelievable that, you know, you heard that people were burning their own houses and stuff like that. I think there must have been some moment of complete madness and utter violence, and I don't want to be too much of a political commentator, but if you look at it, it is total despair. And I didn't know, I didn't think France was in the state that Britain was in. Definitely not. And of course, that came later on, 5-10 years later, and it was like I suppose the ghettoization of towns or parts of town, and the fact that the French wouldn't admit for a long time that they had ghettos they'd created them, the system. I mean the economical system, and you know, rejection and feeling ostracized, and pretty much like how the blacks, I don't want to generalize, but how they felt in society in England, you know, being outcast and downtrodden and being abused by a system that was treating them and their children unfairly. And so I wasn't aware of all of that, and I wasn't aware of the stuff that I don't want to talk about either. I wasn't aware of the subject, and it looked really like we're going to have a good time, and strangely enough, I think there was a lot of police repression, and there was a lot of police repression towards the youth, and there was a lot of sort of hooliganism, and then, you know, skins, or some skins were associated with, I don't want to talk about certain things, but there was definitely it was an element that was not just skins, but youth, you see, like white youth, I suppose, associated with troublemakers, and rightly or wrongly, they were pestered by the police. I listened to a few records, and I just understood the term. It wasn't exactly how I imagined it to be. The aspect of London I'd seen was very joyous. It's very, very exciting and very new to me. And I'll return many times. But one day I want to try to, don't know whether I will, just write about it. I don't know how good a writer I am. I don't think I'm very good. just right about those times when you're young and you have enough money to sort of like get a cheap train, and bear in mind, yeah, it's a long journey to Calais or some other place north, and then you'd book a ferry, and that was a nightmare. There was a hovercraft. There's all sorts of ways of going to England. And then some people living in the West Country, that's West France, they were able to go to Jersey if they wanted a whiff of Britain. And again, we didn't know about these horrible things that's happened there. Didn't know anything really. So I mean, there was a point in my life when, sorry to talk about this, I don't know where it was going. I don't know whether I was going with it, whether I was going forward. I don't know whether things were going a little bit too fast. And I don't think I seemed to have a grip on things, and that kind of, it sort of threw me. I didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. So I decided on a major thing where I would live in England. Decided to live there, and it's all about the fact that I didn't want to be used by the system and say if I have to pay taxes, I'll pay the taxes somewhere else. I did pay taxes, not a lot, but I did. And as far as the other stuff's concerned, i.e. trying to find a job, trying to find a regular job, trying to find any job, I don't particularly want to talk about it. That's the boring bit. But you could say that England goes through waves of mass poverty. Really, it's best if you keep at bay if you can, and then after that, for some weird reason, it's kind of like goes in a cycle. Then you goes into some form of cycle where the people at the top or some clever clogs are going to invent something that everyone wants, and all of a sudden half the country is trying to build that or build on that or try to commercialize it or make a copy of it, and then all of a sudden it boosts the economy. I can't really think of any. I suppose there were happy times, definitely. I looked at this year, 1993, and it's the first time I sunk into a quite deep depression. And it was definitely due to me being in England and not doing what it's almost as if I thought I'd be in control of my destiny. In fact, I wasn't. And I wanted to, I think I wanted to be someone in one way or the other. And I was just a nobody, I suppose. Well, it's not so true, because no one is really. You gotta believe you're something or someone. And by 1993, I think I really wanted to go back to France, simply because I could find regular work in the field that I liked, and I didn't go back. And in that year, 1993, I have my diary, and I looked at it fairly recently, and it's kind of funny because to me it was like one big horrible year. In fact, it wasn't. It could have been, because when I look at all the stuff I was writing, we didn't have a lot of money, but we were going out a lot, as much as we could. We were going to see gigs, I don't know how, because I think I was doing odd jobs, but certainly not making a lot of money. And London's a place where you needed money, really, to entertain yourself and everything. Otherwise, people just resorted to be buying like 12 packs of beer, and that was their fun. And I didn't fall into that trap, but I did fall into the trap of signing on. And it's a personal thing I'm saying now, but maybe all of a sudden you kind of like, it's a bit strange how you're going to fall from whatever